Hi, I'm Martha, and thanks for joining me today for another in my 5-minute math video series. Today I'll be talking about how important place value is when writing and talking about a whole number. Then we'll move on to discussing the traditional method of adding whole numbers. It is the method I was taught many years ago, and it's still how it is taught today. There are different approaches, but the one I'll be describing in this video not only shows how to add whole numbers, but most importantly, why this method works. So here we go. What you see in this video is what we call a 100 numbers chart. It represents the place value of a number. So when we write the number 233, this is not just a 2, because it's in this position, it represents 2 100s. So here we have a representation of 200. 200 squares, 100 in the first block and 100 in the second. Next, we have what is called the tens place. The tens, and it represents how many packages of 10 we have. So we have one group of 10, another group of 10, and a third group of 10. These are often referred to as rods, whereas the hundreds are referred to as flats. And finally, in this position here on the far right is called the ones or units position. It's how many individual items we have. So let's consider another number. The number it's read is 203. This is kind of an interesting number because it has two 100s, but it doesn't have any rods. There's nothing in the tens position. Well, we can't leave that position empty. We have to indicate that there are no tens, there are no rods. And we do have 3 ones, the number 203. This number is also interesting. It does have 3 flats. It has 300, it has 4 rods, 40, but it has no ones, no units. So this is a visual representation of the number 340. And again, you cannot leave the one space empty. You have to indicate when you are writing and talking about the number that there are no ones, and we do that by writing a 0. So let's look at our first addition problem. Here I have it displayed on the 100 numbers frame. We are going to be adding the number 21, which is represented by 2 rods, 10, 20, and 1 unit. And we're adding to the number 21 the number 35, which has 3 tens and 5 ones. So this is very important. When you're using the traditional method of adding, you are always going to start with the little guys first, and then you're going to move to your left. That's a little bit counterintuitive because when you're reading a book, you read from the left to the right. Kind of go in the opposite direction. But we're going to start with the little guys. We're going to add them up. When we add the ones, we have 1 plus 5 makes 6 ones. And then when we add the tens, we have 2 tens plus 3 tens. We have 5 tens. So it really is just the same thing as adding the units column and getting 6, adding the tens column and getting 5. There's nothing complicated in this particular problem. Now let's look at a problem where we're asked to add 334 and 145. Just check the representations. 3 flats, 3 rods, and 4 units, 334. 1 flat, 4 rods, and 5 units, 145. We're starting with the little guys first. Altogether we have 4 plus 5, we have 9 units. We have 3 plus 4, we have 7 rods. And we have 3 flats plus 1 flat, we have 4 flats, 479.